here. Don't look up. Don't look anywhere. Don't scream for help. Don't move don't even breathe. Don't If you are thinking of seeing this film alone, don't.
Junk food supper.
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 Junk food
Junk
supper.
food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Hello and welcome to Junk Food Supper. This is the podcast where more or less every week we get together to talk about weird movies and all kinds of jazz. I am Parker, joined as always by Sean Byron, who is in Los Angeles, California, the city of angels. Sean Byron, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right down here in the City of Angels.
Is that what you guys like refer to it as, like on the reg?
Typically, yeah. I mean, that's the most common way to refer to our city for sure. Just kind of rolls off the tongue and really represents kind of the whole Christian attitude that we have down here.
There are a lot of churches. I noticed at least 78 churches in the downtown Pasadena area.
Well, yeah, it's a very God-fearing country, but I can't believe by mentioning Pasadena, it sounds like you're already trying to segue into tales of this past week.
Oh, no. I don't want to jump the gun. That's technically your segment, so I'm not going to jump in there and dictate when we talk about that. Yeah, we can hold off. I'm not trying to jump the gun here. Was there anything else going on? Did you get to see any Spider-Man based movies or anything this weekend that you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, this is the top of the show, and I feel like there is a tradition here of like we do have to do some meaningless banter about what's been going on in our weeks. And I made the boneheaded move of creating a segment that'll be coming up where you and I talk about what we did together this past weekend. So I was thinking, right here at the top, before we talk about that, is there anything that's happened since the last time that we saw each other a couple of days ago that we want to talk about? Do you have anything?
Well, yeah, I started watching the show Euphoria, and it's like really, really good.
Oh, okay. That's the one where teenagers do drugs and have fuck parties or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. It's great. It's like a Bret Easton Ellis novel on my TV.
I never seen it, but it's very popular these days, I guess.
It's pretty wonderful. A lot of good cinematography. It's got really good bicycle riding cinematography. Like the best since E.T. by far.
Better than Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
I would say better than that, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Really good bicycle cinematography. The way they shoot the spokes, the way they light the chain, the way that they honk the horn on the front of the bike. It's all perfect.
Now, did they land the Mongoose sponsorship that is key to any bicycle-based film's success?
Yeah, they did. About half of every episode is about pegs and like who's going to be riding on the pegs and who's going to be riding on the seat and pedaling. It's a very good show. Very bicycle. Should have just called it Bicycles, the show. A lot of bicycles in it.
What is more euphoric than riding on an old BMX bike?
Exactly.
Popping a wheelie.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that feeling of popping a wheelie for like the first time and being like, wow, like this is possible?
Yeah. That's when you really believe that anything is possible in life.
Yeah. Then you realize pretty shortly after that's the only trick you can do, and still like 1/3 of the time you probably hurt yourself doing it. So you don't in fact have a career being the next Matt Hoffman.
Yeah. It was like really difficult to pop a wheelie. I could never like ride. I remember like a lot of kids being able to like actually like go and pedal and sustain that wheelie for like long periods of time. I could never do that.
You guys have those motherfuckers up there that ride their motorcycles in the street popping wheelies all day long? Because I hate that shit. I see a lot of that down here, and we call ourselves the City of Angels. I don't think that's very angelic behavior, if you ask me.
Sounds like the work of Satan.
Yeah. You said it.
Yeah, they're up here too. They're annoying.
Well, speaking of the work of Satan, I did want to just mention the one thing that's happened to me in the past few days since we saw each other, which is just last night, in fact, was having a slice of pizza at home, and a classic thing happened. This is a classic Sean Byron incident. It's probably happened to me before, and maybe I've even mentioned it happening before on the show, but, I'm eating a slice of pizza, watching TV, get to the end of the pizza, and I go to put the the plate back in the sink. And this is a reheat situation, so I had reheated this on a on a little bit of tin foil, And I go and I look down, and there's a big chunk missing out of this tin foil, which I suppose, stuck to the cheese, which would be fine, except all the cheese is in my stomach. Meaning I must have ingested some tin foil last night, and I don't know if this is a fatal condition. I've been kind of hesitant to engage on WebMD with this matter, but if it sounds like I'm turning into a puddle of blood here in my chair, I guess it's because that tinfoil is probably, tearing apart my insides.
Yeah, that sounds horrifying. I would be deeply scared if that happened to me. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'd imagine that you're probably just going to poop it out peacefully. But in the interim, that would give me a lot of anxiety because that's the kind of guy I am. But I imagine you're probably safe.
It was relatively stress inducing. I did spend a few minutes, scouring the plate, looking for a scrap of tinfoil that maybe had somehow just like detached itself and stayed outside of my stomach. But no, it does seem like it in fact made its way into my body. So I am partially made out of metal now, which I guess is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, you've probably got cavities, right?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Well, you probably would have felt extreme pain if you would have chewed on tinfoil. So I got to imagine you probably didn't swallow any because you would know it. You remember that classic part in basketball where the guy chews on the tinfoil. I mean, it's supposed to hurt.
I mean, that's true, but I don't remember in that scene whether or not he had wedged that tinfoil into like several pounds worth of pure mozzarella.
I guess maybe. Yeah, that's a good point. If it's like covered, does the tinfoil have to make direct contact with the cavities, the fillings, or if you cover it in some mozzarella, are you safe? Yeah,
I think mozzarella makes anything go down easy. That's why my mom used to put my, medicines into it when I was a child. She'd just shove it into a block of mozzarella and then cram that down my throat. Yeah.
It was hard. It was harder to do when it was like NyQuil or something because she would have to deep fry it, like how they do like the deep fried Coke,
More difficult, but certainly worth the effort.
Yeah. Have you ever had deep fried Coke?
I mean, if we're being honest, no, I've never had it.
Me neither. I see it around sometimes. I'm always curious.
I mean, I've liked everything else deep fried that I've had in my life, so I don't know why Coke would be any different.
That's a good point. Well, I hope you don't die of metalitis.
Yeah, likewise. But again, maybe I'll turn into the Iron Man or something. This could be my origin story.
That would be pretty sweet.
Nobody knows whether or not that little slice of tinfoil was not radioactive,
Yeah, you're going to get every superpower. You're going to turn into Iron Man. It's going to be radioactive. It was in the microwave.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah, you very well could. The pizza was in the microwave, so you'll probably get gamma radiation. So you kind of be like the Hulk too.
What kind of microwave are you putting tinfoil into, Bowman?
Well, I guess that's a good point.
What kind of microwave are you putting tinfoil into, Bowman?
Well, how did you get melted mozzarella on your tinfoil if you're not putting it in the microwave?
In the oven. I put that bad boy on 405. That's my degrees because it's a little tribute to one of my favorite freeways in Los Angeles. I'm not going 400. I go 405. And I crisp that stuff up.
I forgot that I was talking to Anthony Bourdain over here with his oven. His analog oven.
It takes like 6 minutes. It's worth it. Again, going back to deep frying my NyQuil, it's worth it. You put in the effort, the flavors are better.
I'm not Emeril Lagasse. I don't cook with an oven. I use a microwave.
All right, fair enough.
Well,
but yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this past weekend. Well, not the past weekend, actually, but the past few days.
Yeah. We did some fun stuff this weekend.
Yep, we certainly did. So I guess maybe we should just jump right into that, which is now, this is the demarcation point. Prior, we were just in kind of top of the show. Now we're in the first segment. And first segment this week is going to be a doozy because Bowman and I, for the first time in, 6 months or something? 7 months or something since we met up in Las Vegas, Nevada. We got together and we met up at the Monsterpalooza convention in Pasadena. So we were thinking, let's talk about our experience in Monsterpalooza. Maybe we'll just throw in some general horror convention thoughts. But yeah, I mean, let's just dive into the convention, I guess. So I was there, primarily in service of my wife's table. She actually was able to get a table this year at Monsterpalooza to sell her sculptures, and that went great. We had a fun time there at the table. She made some sales. I mean, we didn't get rich or anything, but we were able to do good enough that it felt like it was worth it for us. And she met some people and all that. So success on that front, but beyond that, it seemed like, hey, this is a good opportunity to meet up with Bowman, to meet up with other JFD luminaries and a few friends. So, I invited you down and you came down for the Saturday of the weekend. And let's hear it from you. Like, what were you thinking? What were you expecting? What is your experience with just horror conventions in general, I guess?
Well, I think all the horror conventions I've ever been to in life were with you. Monsterpalooza.
Wow.
We went to. That was where we met.
Yeah, back in 2013.
Yeah. Many years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Believe it or not.
When we were young men. And then we went to Horror Hound in Cincinnati together. Those are the horror conventions I've been to. I haven't been to any other ones. So,
and we nearly went to the Las Vegas Days of the Dead convention, to which I think I still have a ticket.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We should probably go to that. That's probably going to be fun. That would be fun. That's a fun one, I bet.
Yeah, I think it's taking place about a month into the pandemic.
Yeah.
So
probably horrifying, I guess, to go to. We probably would have died if we would have went. But yeah, I came down. I like these things. The first Monsterpalooza we went to was quite small, and this one was quite huge. Maybe even bigger than the Horror Hound, which is notably huge. Actually, maybe not that big. Maybe they're pretty comparable. Maybe Horror Hound edges it out a little bit. But yeah, I was surprised that this thing has grown so much. We got into town Friday, and I kind of thought about also attending Friday because they were doing the Freddy versus Jason panel for the 20th anniversary of the greatest monster movie ever made. A pivotal point in my life, seeing those two guys fight. But then Robert Englund, it was going to be like Robert Englund and Ken Kersinger, the guy who played Jason in that movie, doing like a panel answering questions and stuff. But Robert Englund canceled. So I decided not to do that.
And it was kind of a strange cancellation, right? Because it came in like phases where I think early in the day there was some kind of a tweet from him or something that said, I got a scheduling change. I'm only going to be able to make the Q&A, but I can't do the photos and signings beforehand. But I'll see you guys for the Q&A. And then later in the day, it was just everything's canceled. And then later in the day, even it was everything's canceled because he has COVID. And did you see the apology video that he put out where it's like a shirtless Robert Englund in his hotel room? Well, he's wearing a robe, so you don't get nips, but it's like an open robe, shirtless. You get more than you probably wanted, at least for me. And he's apologizing about having COVID and trying to make kind of Freddy Krueger-ish jokes while he does it, but it's kind of a strange video. I don't know.
I need to check that out. Yeah, it was certainly weird. Yeah, the way that the information came out about why he wasn't going to be there. And then also, like the two main guests, I would say, were him and Bruce Campbell, who also ended up canceling. So that's probably got to suck to put your big convention on and your two main guys cancel. But I guess that's how it goes if you get COVID. I don't know what Bruce Campbell had. Probably syphilis, not COVID, but
I think he got work. I think Campbell just got busy. But
yeah, busy
um,
getting syphilis. That's what I heard. I heard a rumor.
well, you get syphilis from getting busy. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah,
in a Burger King bathroom.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine it was probably upsetting for a lot of the folks there who like are autograph people and picture people, because I would say like 1 in 12 people had some sort of like Freddy cosplay or t-shirt or something. Like it seemed like Freddy was very popular at this. So I would imagine that a lot of people were probably let down.
Freddy and Ash both were, represented pretty highly in the costuming. It was hard to miss, either of them in any given situation. There would be at least one Nightmare Freddy or a fake Ash. And yeah, you heard people the whole weekend talking about, what a bummer it is that he couldn't make it. But if it was any consolation, they were able to get photos and autographs with Fairuza Balk in a full COVID mask, or the girl from Megan who doesn't look like Megan because she wears a mask in that movie.
Yeah, the Fairuza Balk thing is weird because like I walked past her. I didn't even remember she was supposed to be there. I walked past her like booth, and it was like crawling with people, like just a huge line. And I was like, who are they waiting in line for? What is this? Like I couldn't even tell because she had a mask on. So like I can't imagine like who, I mean, I kind of think like taking pictures and like getting autographs is like a little bit weird anyway. Like I've never really been too into it, but like to do it with somebody who like you can't even tell who they are because they're wearing a mask, and like God bless her for wanting to stay safe and not wanting to get COVID. I don't want to like shame her for that aspect of it, but like I cannot imagine wanting to spend money on such a thing, right? Like, but people seem to be happily doing it, like even though you can't tell it's her. Like I don't know, like is that like super weird to you?
I mean, the only thing that I can think of is that maybe these guys are thinking, well, I've already got one photo of me and Fairuza. Here's the cool variant, is the COVID era variant, like they won't be able to get this in a couple of years when nobody's wearing masks anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it was not only that, not only just the mask that was an issue, but the banner behind her, she went full Madonna, single name. It just said Fairuza. Could be any Fairuza. Who am I to know that it's Fairuza Balk?
Yeah, I didn't see that part of it. Was it a nice banner at least?
It was okay. I'd give it a B+.
I did walk by Skeet Ulrich's booth, who also had a single name banner, but his, I think, was like made by Dante from Clerks. Like it looked like it was just made with shoe polish. Like
it was just white printer paper. And yeah, I think black Sharpie. Let's not say that it was shoe polish. Let's not besmirch, the fine craftsmanship. But it was pretty janky.
Yeah, it was pretty weird because I think he was like one of the more popular guys in terms of long lines, which is also surprising to me. I don't know if I was saying this to you or to Jackson, but like he's got small cameos in the new Scream movies, but outside of that, like his last and maybe most only notable like genre film is Scream. So like it's a little surprising that he would be that in demand. But I mean, I guess like Scream is like, I mean, I get if you were born at a certain time, I guess Scream is maybe like your Nightmare on Elm Street. So maybe it's not too surprising, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's that. And then also, as I think you so definitely pointed out, in the moment at the time, Skeet's got to eat.
Yeah, that is true. He's hustling out there.
But I would say in general, it's kind of a bad look to have a very professional banner behind you in these autograph hallways, because to me that says like, this is your main gig now, that you're invested in this. This is what you do. You're an autograph hallway guy. Skeet's not ready to hang it up and say, I'm just an autograph hallway guy now. Like he has big Hollywood dreams still, and maybe he might achieve them.
I hope so. I hope he makes it, I mean, well, his whole thing was like he got famous because he was like sort of like a dollar store version of Johnny Depp. And like now that Johnny Depp's gone, like I feel like there's a vacuum there for Skeet.
We need a new Depp.
Mm-hmm.
And with the technology that we got today, we could put Skeet in all the previous Depp films. You know what I mean? You want to watch Dead Man with Skeet instead of Depp? Do it.
Yeah. I think that would be good. That's how we can handle like the canceling of actors. Is just replace them with other guys.
I feel like it's only inevitable. Actually, I'm surprised that did not happen with this Flash movie.
Yeah. Well, that happened with that Ridley Scott movie, right? Like that Kevin Spacey was going to be in. Like, didn't they replace him with like James Caan or somebody like this at the last minute?
I think they hired a guy and they reshot all the scenes,
Okay. Okay. Well,
the next version of that is let's not fly all the way back out to London to shoot this again. Let's just, we'll do it in the computers.
Yeah. Just do those deep fakes.
People love them, apparently. That's all my YouTube algorithm will recommend to me.
Yeah.
It is getting crazy. Like no joke, the last time I looked at YouTube, like 5 out of the first 20 recommendations were different versions of virtual insanity that are AI aided. I don't know why. I'm not a Jamiroquai fan. I didn't click on any of these. Why am I getting so many recommended to me? But it's like virtual insanity, but a cat is singing, or virtual insanity, but the colors are weird, or something. Like, it's just all this dumb shit.
I haven't seen any of those. My YouTube algorithm pretty much just supplies me with like Elden Ring tips and Warhammer lore videos. Like that, it knows who I am, so it doesn't stray too far from that.
Sounds like you're pro AI overlord. Then you think these guys are doing a good job?
They might be. I mean, if you're going to change Jamiroquai, I think you're off to a good start, since Jamiroquai was pretty flawed to begin with.
It's a good point. They identified, one of the top priorities in correcting what humans have wrought. You got to start with Jamiroquai.
Yeah,
we'll get to the gun problem later.
So of the celebrities, like we talked about this a little bit, but like, there was nobody there that like enticed you into wanting to get an autograph. Like, was there anybody that like you walked by and were like, oh my God, that person? Like, do you get like starstruck around folks like this?
I mean, I think I would have if Robert Englund were there, or Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
I've seen Bruce Campbell kind of up close once at the New Art, way back when Bubba Hotep was a new movie. I saw it there, and he did the intro, and that was cool. Other than that, and I do think I did see Robert Englund once from a great distance doing a panel, but never up close. It is kind of cool in those autograph hallways that you can walk like really close up to these people. I mean, you're within a couple of feet of them, so you can just kind of talk to your friend in the hallway. Like there was one stretch where you and I and Jackson were talking to each other, and the whole time I was just staring at Ken Kersinger. You know what I mean? Because I could. And then on the other side of the hall, it's Kane Hodder, and you can just stare right at him.
I think that we're probably
fun.
Yeah, we're probably like photobombing a lot of people with Ken Kersinger's like autograph sessions.
Yeah, I feel like we should go back and look for him, tagged on Instagram this past weekend, and you probably will see me like picking my nose in the corner of the frame or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah, seeing him was cool. He's like a really big dude. Like he's very big in that movie, but like he's also very big in real life. It wasn't just Hollywood magic. And yeah, there was like a lot of people from Freddy 4 were there, which is, one of my favorite Freddys. So that was kind of interesting, but none of them look like themselves anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of weird. I mean, obviously like everybody ages and stuff, but like, it was like, it kind of took a little bit of the luster out, like a little bit of the magic, to like, not that like, oh, these are real people. They're not, or anything like that, but like, just like they didn't look like themselves. So it was like kind of, if they had looked exactly like themselves, I probably would have been like, oh my God, like the guy who karate fights Freddy, this is crazy. But because he just looked like just like a normal kind of old dude, like it was a little bit lessened. Although the lady who plays Alice still looks exactly like herself. So yeah. that was fun to see her. We saw her at the last one too.
And I would like to imagine that Fairuza Balk looks exactly the same. I mean, I'll never know.
There's no way to tell.
There certainly were a few people and I'm not going to name names because it's not a nice thing to do, but like there were a few people I walked like down that hallway and I looked at them and it gave me like a strong feeling of depression where I'm like, this is kind of sad to witness, where you just look like a I don't know, like an unloved animal at a zoo or something. They just look caged and kind of alone, and nobody's lining up for them, and this is all they got left. I don't know how you fix that. I wish that there was a way to make those autograph areas feel less like this weird kind of just fanboy exploitation / parade of sadness, but sometimes that's how it does feel.
Yeah. There were some people there that, I noticed there was like no line for them, and it was like kind of, I felt bad for them.
Oh, well.
Yeah, what can you do?
Probably would have been even worse for them had Robert Englund and Bruce Campbell showed up, so.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Also, Brian Thompson was there, who played 2 different monsters on Buffy, so that was cool. I liked him.
I think we determined he didn't list Buffy on his credits on his vinyl banner, maybe. He was not proud of it.
Yeah, he didn't list it on his banner, but he did have photographs from Buffy, I noticed, on his table, so. I briefly, for a second, I bought some cool like Buffy art. Like I bought a Buffy poster when I was there, and I briefly considered having him autograph it, even though like he was in like 2 episodes or something like that, and like he's not on the poster at all. But like I was like, well, he's like the only Buffy person I'll ever see in real life, so maybe I should just do this. But I realized I like money more. I'll just keep my money.
I'm still holding out hope that someday you might meet Buffy Bagwell, the pro wrestler.
The wrestler with the hat.
Exactly, yeah.
That would be great. I would like that very much.
Speaking of tough guys, I do want to shout out. I got a list of a few shout outs, and I do want to shout out the tough guy security guard who I saw on Sunday sitting down. I mean, granted, Sunday, it's the end of a long weekend of convention stuff, but during show hours, it's probably 1 p.m. or something on Sunday, he's sitting down on the ground rather than standing by the door that he's assigned to cover, just sitting by the door on the ground outside, smoking a cigar. And I thought that was kind of a cool move for a security guard who was actively engaged in work. He was kind of like half opening the door for people while sitting down smoking a cigar, but mostly just enjoying that cigar.
Yeah. Well, I think after 2 days, he realized that like if any trouble breaks out, like these are just like a bunch of like dorks who love George Romero movies. Like he could probably take them, you know?
Yeah. Probably take him one-handed while he's puffing on his Cubano still.
Yeah, exactly.
Also wanted to shout out. Oh, good.
Oh no, please.
Well, I think I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the homeboy who I caught dancing by himself with his iPhone blaring via the iPhone speakers some real deep cut R&B classics in the cigarette smoking zone. He was out there smoking a cigarette, just blasting deep cut R&B and just dancing his ass off, this little white boy with a beard. And then later on in the show, I think it was the next day, he came by my wife's table and like made a beeline for me. And I was thankful that this weirdo guy didn't go right for my wife, but he like stumbles his way over to me and started asking me about if I knew where he could find the action figures from the movie Heavy Metal 2 from the 90s. And I said, do you mean Heavy Metal 2000 from the year 2000? And he said, yes, that movie, but the 90s version. And I still don't know what the hell he was talking about. He was very adamant. He was like, they got this figure of Julie with the big tits. And I don't know Julie, man, but he was on one. So shout out to that guy.
Well, he's talking about Julie Strain, the star of the 2000s version.
But not that one, the 90s version.
Okay, the 90s version.
Yeah. So shout out to that guy.
Yeah, I like that guy.
And final shout out is pretty early in the convention. This was on Friday. I had been there for an hour or so, and I was smoking a cigarette out in the parking lot. And this woman comes through the parking lot who is not part of the convention. She must have just been in Pasadena for Pasadena's sake. You know what I mean? But she's parked at the hotel, the Sheraton right there, that's next to the convention center. And she's walking through, and she sees all these people in, their various Freddy Krueger cosplays and stuff. And she's very Southern and very confused. And she says, monsters, all these monsters. What is this, a monster truck show? And also, I don't know what that means, why she would think Freddy Krueger and these other monsters would be at a monster truck show. But that was her her genuine reaction, and I thought it was charming.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea that she thinks that there's like these huge monster trucks just in the convention center driving around.
Yeah. So
popping wheelies.
3 of my favorite people. Will I ever meet any of them again? Probably not, but I'll always remember them.
Mm-hmm. Who were some of your favorite cosplayers that you saw?
Well, my number one favorite was that Invisible Man, who had the most incredible Invisible Man costume of all time, where it really did look like he truly was invisible. And it even took me a minute to figure out how he did it. That guy ruled. I liked all the Freddys. It was fun to see like so many different Freddys at once. There was 2 different TV death Freddys from Freddy Part 3, and both of them were pretty good. I don't know. Did you have a particular favorite? Maybe the Naked Shining Lady?
Naked Shining Lady was really good. Like, it was such a good likeness.
Yeah, and that's a lot of makeup. It's a full body, like, prosthetic. Like, that had to have been a professional, I'm guessing.
I would think so, yeah. Yeah, like, it must have taken a long time. Because, yeah, it wasn't like a suit. It was like the makeup was on their skin. Like, so yeah, that one was really good. Also, I saw pictures. I didn't get to see him in real life, but I saw pictures of the Jack Nicholson guy that you were talking about. And I think that it was either V. Neil's studio or Stan Winston's studio who put that together. I think it was Stan Winston. So top of the line effects studio putting that Jack Nicholson together. It looked really good in the pictures I saw online.
Yeah, that guy was crazy. And I told you at the show, but it happened to me a couple of times where at first it was just kind of walking through the convention floor. There's a guy, walking ahead of me. I'm almost trying to kind of get past him because he's walking a little bit slow. And then he turns around, and what I thought was just a regular guy in like a regular t-shirt, he's got a mask on of Jack from The Shining, but it is like picture perfect. Like, it's this type of silicone material, I guess, that is like very skin-like, and it was so jarring to see like this picture perfect grinning Jack Nicholson. And then later he did the same thing to me in the bathroom, and it scared the crap out of me right there at the sink. And then I think there was another guy I saw later who had kind of a similar mask, but it's a crying baby, but also hyper realistic, that I was like freaked out by. So that seems like a new trend, is these hyper realistic masks.
Yeah, I saw that baby on Instagram too. Didn't see him in real life, which just goes to show, like, I mean, we walked around that thing for 6 hours or something, and like, you don't get to see everything. Like, even, these very, big things like Jack Nicholson from The Shining just walking around, you might miss because it's like so huge. One thing I did miss, I saw on Instagram that I'm so mad I missed. There's this episode of Angel, the Buffy spinoff, where Angel gets turned into a puppet. And that puppet was there. I don't know if it was like one of the real puppets or it was like just some dude who made the puppet or whatever. Either way, I would have loved to have met Puppet Angel. But I missed my shot. So that was kind of a bummer. But yeah, there's like so many good cosplays. There's those Planet of the Apes guys that you saw. I didn't see them, but I saw your picture.
They were really good, really impressive. I think it was like a father-son duo, and they both had just like, again, picture perfect makeup. It looked like they were on screen in the first movie, Yeah,
those guys looked cool. The Disney ghosts, did you see them?
I did finally, right at the end. Yeah, I saw them posing out front with people, and I thought those were really good.
Yeah, those were wonderful. They like stopped at one point to like, we caught up with them, and they like stopped to like pose and like do their stuff, and like people were taking pictures with them. And as they were doing that, a little kid who's like, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 years old, dressed as a Ghostbuster walked by, and he doesn't even hesitate. He takes off the little pack, throws it on the ground, and starts shooting them with his blaster, like trying to capture these ghosts. Like, it was so amazing. He was probably waiting all day to get some ghosts. That was what his thing was. And like, they started playing along, and like they were like spinning around and like moving towards the trap, like they were getting sucked into it and stuff. Like, super good sports. Like, it was just like so amazing. Stuff like that is like so fun. Like that impromptu stuff and people just like having fun together.
It was kind of heartwarming throughout the weekend to see families enjoying monster stuff together, like to see this stuff cross generations and to see like young kids be as into mummies and Frankensteins as, their dads and their grandpas. I love that kind of stuff, and makes me kind of question some of my own life choices to be such a selfish prick that I, probably never will have kids. But when you see it like that, it is kind of like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, for sure. Like sort of before we left, like real close to the end, we saw two little kids that were cosplaying like the 13 Ghosts movies from like 20 years ago, the remake.
Yeah.
And like one of them was like Scary Ghost, and then one of them was dressed like Matthew Lillard with the glasses, and that was like super cute. And like I got into this argument with Jennifer because I was like, oh, those kids, like that's so cool that they like that movie. Like, you wouldn't think that like that movie would like maybe connect with like younger kids or whatever. Cause I mean, these were like young kids. They're like 5, 6 or 7. She was like, no, like those kids don't like that. Their parents like it. They dressed them up like that. Those kids don't care. And we got into an argument.
All these kids are pieces of shit.
That's what she said. I was like, no, like if you dress a kid up like something and they don't like it, they'll let you know about it. Like these kids obviously like that stuff. And when we got home, we happened to stumble upon their Instagram, and the kids were loving it. Like they were like in all their videos that they posted, they were in character and like having fun. So I feel vindicated that those kids actually liked 13 Ghosts, and I'm glad that they liked it. And then also the Megan line, like it was a bunch of like little kids who were in line to meet Megan. And I think that's super cool that there's like a movie like that, if this thing existed when we were kids, we'd probably be lining up to meet Ernest, because he was Ernest Scared Stupid or Freddy or, stuff like that. Like, so like, I thought that was like super cool that there's a bunch of little kids there who wanted to meet Megan, that like there's a horror movie that speaks to little kids and that they're into, and that is going to keep this thing going. They're going to be old people in 30 years dressing their kids up like Megan and having fun. It's going to keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I totally agree. And speaking of speaking, as you just did, I did also want to mention, did you notice the public address system and where it was located?
Not really. I heard it a few times, but I didn't really like pay attention.
Yeah, so I'm sitting at that table for a good chunk of the con. So whenever there was a public address, I was actually listening because I'd be kind of bored just sitting there at a certain point. And it blows my mind what they did here. It's a big convention, a lot of people attending. This convention center, I think, has been around for decades. Like they know what they're doing, but their PA system is this big mixer, with a microphone attached to it right by the main door. And it was completely unsecured. It was turned on in this prominent location. Nobody's standing around, keeping an eye on it. And so there were a few times throughout the convention where like people made announcements like, please come to the front of the convention hall, Mr. D's nuts. Please come to the front of the convention hall, Mr. D's nuts. Nothing too outrageous or anything, just funny little things. But it did blow my mind. It's like, this is how you guys choose to roll with your PA system, just right out here in the open for anybody to partake in.
Well, if you're going to throw a convention, you're going to have a couple of D's nuts involved.
I guess so.
Yeah. Did you buy anything fun?
I bought a couple of comic books and a T-shirt from the artist Skinner. He's got his Skin Crawl comic. That's kind of like it's a horror comic, sort of in the tradition of EC Comics, or kind of more like those Warren comics and stuff from like the 70s. Big format, nice printing, and cool art. So I've been flipping through. I haven't really fully read them yet, but flipping through, they look great. And then I also bought a tiny little troll doll, but not like not the ones with like the tall hair that you remember, but this is like a Norwegian troll doll that look kind of hideous, but
oh yeah,
it was $10, and I had a bunch of these when I was real young. These were some of the first toys that I ever owned. Actually, was my mom got me these weird, ugly troll dolls that I liked, so bought one of those.
I saw one of those a few weeks ago at the Swedish festival. I think we're probably talking about the same kind. And yeah, I was going to buy it, but it was like $70. So I didn't get that one.
They got like kind of the the scraggly teeth and the long nose that looks like a wiener.
Yeah. The one from Community, the Parallel Universe episode. I'll send you a picture and see and confirm that this is the right guy. But yeah, I think I know the kind you're talking about.
Yeah. What about you? Any major purchases?
I got a few things. I kind of regret like not sifting through some of like those booths where it was like just a bunch of junk a little bit more, because like they were like, like a lot of the booths were like people selling their art that they made or people selling their, t-shirts that they made or like,
Or Vinegar Syndrome had a booth.
Yeah, Vinegar Syndrome had a booth. I did pick up the Blu-ray of House on the Edge of the Park, which I'm very proud of. But yeah, like it was a lot of stuff like that. But like some people just had booths where it's like, I don't know, here's like a bunch of junk. Like here's a bunch of VHS tapes and comic books. I don't know, whatever. And like, so I kind of wish I would have picked through those a little bit more. There's probably some cool stuff, but I got a few things. I got some artworks. I got that, the Buffy poster, which is like based on the musical episode. But it looks like if it was like a playbill, like if you actually went to like Broadway or something to watch this, like it kind of looks like in that style. It's like kind of cute and fun. And then I got a poster of some artwork a guy made where the creature from the Black Lagoon is fighting some kappas, who are my favorite yokai, as you know.
I do know that, yeah.
So I was very excited about that. It was a cool mashup. And like I was like, oh my God, the creature versus kappas. And the guy was like, oh my God, you're the first person who has known that this is kappas. And so we bonded over kappas. So I got that. Jennifer got a Buffy shirt. I got a few stickers. And one of which
was Buffy related.
Buffy related, Spike. I got a Spike sticker and Ricky Coogan from Freaked. And that's about it. There's like a bunch of other stuff that I was like kind of tempted to get. There's actually one thing. As I was leaving and in the parking garage, there was a guy with a Frankenhooker shirt. And I was like, hey, nice Frankenhooker shirt. That rules. And he was like, oh yeah, come by our booth and pick one up. And I was like, oh, well, fuck, I'm leaving now. So I couldn't do that. Otherwise I would have got that Frankenhooker shirt. But
well, more than physical goods, you walked away with a whole grip of memories and all these great photos of you posing with Yetis and Ricky Coogans in the Monster Museum and all this kind of stuff.
True, yeah. I was very excited to meet Ricky Coogan. It was like, I was taken a little aback. Like that was like kind of who I was most starstruck about is the busts of Ricky Coogan and Stewie Gluck from Freaked. So that was fun. I kind of wish like that the Ricky Coogan was like the half face rather than the full face, but it was still pretty cool.
That museum overall, I thought was pretty cool though. Like they had, obviously they've got industry professionals, so you expect the quality of the props and stuff in there to be pretty high. But I thought they were really creative as well. Like there was that one Frankenstein statue that they had built that was based not on the movies, but on the old Aurora model kit of Frankenstein from like the 50s or 60s or whatever. And it was kind of a recreation of that. I thought that was really cool and just really well executed.
Yeah. And there was like giant bottles of like the like enamel paint and stuff, like those little tiny bottles, but they were like blown up to scale. I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
And also in that museum, two very famous guys that we love and care about deeply, or perhaps our nemesis. The Mothman was in there, which was really cool. The Mothman of Point Pleasant, Wyoming, or West Virginia. Wyoming. Why would I say Wyoming? West Virginia. And Dennis Gorgon was there, the guy who touched Kevin's kid that time. Touched his boy. You remember that time we went to Universal and Dennis Gorgon touched Kevin's boy?
I do remember that, of course.
He was there.
I think that's the moment in which Kevin turned into the Kevin Mothman and did battle.
Oh.
Maybe that was the inspiration for that scene at the Monsterpalooza Museum.
That could be. So it was good to see those guys. So yeah, it was a fun
Also
event.
good to see Cobra for some reason. Stallone as Cobretti.
Yeah, that was a weird one. It's not even monster related.
He's a monster of a man.
True. Yeah, there was some cool stuff in there. There's like that Lovecraft part with like the fish monsters. I liked those guys.
Yeah. And then on top of everything, on top of all of the fun that was had at Monsterpalooza, in my mind, maybe the most monumental event happened very shortly after you were done with the convention, which is we tried to go out to Mongolian barbecue. And that was a failure. That's on me. I guess I should have called them first, but Yelp said they were open. We showed up and they had a sign posted on the door that said that they were on temporary vacation for a couple weeks or something. And so we went to the original Tops in Pasadena, pastrami joint, where you had your very first ever Orange Bang drink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It also prompted Jackson to leave us. He was down for Mongolian, but couldn't abide by pastrami, so he left us by the roadside.
Kind of a strange maneuver, yeah, considering the two restaurants were within a block of each other, that he would have made the trek out for Mongolian, but then as soon as it was switched to a pastrami-based venue, who do have non-pastrami items on, I mean, you can get tater tots and stuff. You could probably get a cheeseburger without the pastrami, I guess, if that's what you're into. But he was not having it.
Yeah, I think he blew it though, because they have really good food there. But
and they have really good drinks.
I had the Orange Bang. It was very delicious. I'd never experienced anything like this before in my life. It's like it's like orange juice, but like if you take the juice part out and replace it with like vanilla ice cream or something.
I think I think that is the idea, that there's some kind of a cream or a milk in there that is supposed to kind of calm down the citrus nature of an orange drink, and then they kind of whip it so it's got like a little bit of a frothy texture to it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I had about 4 glasses of that. It was just delicious.
I couldn't believe that you had never had it, because I'm sure that they may or may not have it in Ohio. I don't think I ever had it growing up in Massachusetts, but in my mind, it's a California staple from here to the Bay, like up and down. You go to any burrito joint, they're going to have Orange Bang if they know what's good for them.
It's not the kind of thing that I would be on the lookout for. Like I usually don't drink, I'm a Diet Coke man, so like that's usually where I go straight ahead. So I wouldn't be looking around. I've usually got blinders on. So, but that being said, I've never seen it that I know of, but I will be on the lookout for it now.
Yeah. Enjoy it. And, if that's your last Orange Bang, I'm going to be kind of disappointed. So for me, continue to be an Orange Bang consumer.
I will. I'll be back down there at some point. I'll be getting those Orange Bangs. That's how we'll know where to eat from now on. We'll just go to wherever the Orange Bangs are.
I'm into it.
Okay, we're back.
Also, I wanted to shout out a cosplayer I forgot to mention. The American Werewolf in Long Johns.
Oh, yeah. I saw him on my way out on Sunday.
Yeah. I saw him on the way out Saturday. He was just a werewolf wearing some Long Johns, and he was carrying around a sign that said American Werewolf in Long Johns. I like that guy a great deal.
Yeah, they were like, American flag-based Long Johns, which was cute.
Because he's American.
I wouldn't have known it, if not for the Long Johns. It's not like I was listening to his accent or anything like that.
Yeah. So that was fun. Fun times. Lots of stuff going on over there.
Yeah. I guess the moral of the story is, if there's a Monsterpalooza happening in your town, go check it out. You'll have some fun. Oh, also, it was good to see Jackson Stewart, even if he did bail on our pastrami mission.
That's true. It was nice to see him. We were very upset because we wanted to meet Miguel Nunez, who is the star of Return of the Living Dead and Friday the 13th Part 5. He's the guy who says, "This shitbox is gross," and also curses those damn enchiladas that gave him diarrhea. We love that guy, but I think he was only there like Friday or maybe only Sunday, something like that. He wasn't there Saturday. But that's one guy that I would have paid for us to get a photo with, for sure. But life had other plans for us, and now I'll never get to tell him that this shitbox is gross.
Yeah, well, but the one thing they can't take away from you is that shirtless video of Robert Englund that's on Instagram. So go enjoy that.
I'll have to check that out. Well, I guess that wraps it up for this first segment. Unless you had any more Monsterpalooza thoughts, any parting Monsterpalooza thoughts?
No.
Well, then we got a couple of voicemails from special junkies out there. Here is the first of which I'm not sure who it's from.
Hey, junk food supper. This is Matt from Arizona, longtime caller. Enjoying your new format, both ends of it, when Kevin still comes back and when it's just Parker and Sean. You guys have some crazy wrestling stories from high school and before, I guess. Man, Jello and clothes and blood wrestling. That sounds like the end of Vision Quest, Sean, except you guys did it with Jello, like a manly duel over honor, except with Jello. Very cinematic. And Parker, I think the parents were probably just shocked at catching you guys in the middle of some bizarre, young, semi-deviant activities until like, what the fuck is going on? But I had a movie I was going to suggest for you because of the Badlands and Parker's predilections for what he likes in movies. And this is a movie I always liked. It's Miami Blues. I've never heard of it before, and I think it deserves some more credit. It's got very young Alec Baldwin and Fred Ward in it, and it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of like, two kind of losers, kind of having a dream and it not really working out, of course. I don't know what the name of that genre should be, but it's really bizarre and absurd and funny at times. And I think Alec Baldwin does great as this like complete maniac in it. And it's kind of, like I said, like a failed love story like Bonnie and Clyde, or Badlands. It's kind of like antithesis that came out, So I'd be interested in you guys watching that and seeing what you think. I don't know. I liked it a lot, but, maybe everyone else would hate it. But I think it's really fascinating. It's got that same atmosphere, but, like, more absurd. Just weirdness in it, but, like, very satisfying. So, anyways, that's it. Junk food supper is great, and the good old junk food dinners are a nice change, too. It's kind of cool that it bumps back and forth with the show now. You're like, oh, hey, it's a Kevin one. Oh, hey, it's not. So, wish you guys continued good luck with it. And I like your movie choices so far, too. Very odd direction. The show-by-show decision kind of makes it more spontaneous and fun. So, it's interesting. But, yeah. All right. Talk to you guys later. I enjoy the show. Bye.
Oh, hell yeah.
Another vote for the picking of the movies being the best part of the show. I think this is really catching on. Picking movies. Who would have thought?
Do we have to do that this week, though?
What are you talking about? That's the best part of the show.
I know everybody likes it, and I know that's what leads to new episodes, but couldn't we just, watch something at random? Like, fully random. You and I are not coordinated in the least. We'll just come to the show a couple weeks from now, and we'll just start talking, and whatever happens, happens.
That actually would be a fun theme show to do one day. I guess I'll just watch whatever I'm going to watch. You watch whatever you're going to watch. Maybe they'll be the same thing, possibly.
Yeah, and we can talk at the same time. If we take our headphones out and we can't hear each other, let's just record to track at the same time, and the listeners can figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. We'll record it in stereo so they can hear each of us in one ear.
Yeah. I have not seen Vision Quest or Miami Blues, but I'm interested in seeing either of them.
Yeah, this Miami Blues looks good on Letterboxd. The poster is just a shirtless Alec Baldwin with a gun. I assume maybe when they re-release this, they'll probably pick a different thing for the cover. And then the banner photo is Alec Baldwin in bed with money and an Uzi. So I think I'm probably already going to put this 4 stars. That's pretty good.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I would say if it's a photo with Alec Baldwin's shirt off, you're seeing at least 2 guns in that picture, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. All right, here we go. We got another one.
Hey, it's Matt again. Sorry, you can delete this one if it's too much.
Oh.
I know I'm breaking the 2-call rule, but I just wanted to say how excited I was. I just finished that call and I heard you say you're going to do Don't Look Now. how excited I am that you're doing Don't Look Now, because that movie is fucking awesome. So I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. And yeah, I good description, Parker. 3.5 stars, but I can't stop thinking about it. It's true. Like watching it, you're like, God, what is this? He's like refurbishing art in Italy, like all this like, creeping around. You're like, why do I care? It's so slow, but then it just gets like weirder, like more disturbing, just more and more. Like you start seeing his dead wife, and then it's just like, where is this going? Where is this leading? And then it's just like this horrible, shocking ending, and that's it. It's just like, whoa, that was fucked up. Why did I watch that? That's like the feeling when you're done, like, oh God, what the fuck was that?
Oh,
But then you can't stop thinking about it. It's so fucking unique and weird. That I feel the same way. Like I can find it hard to even recommend to people. I'm like, yeah, Don't Look Now. Yeah, I mean, you might want to watch it. It's pretty fucking good, but it's weird, So anyways, look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about it. I'll shut up now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I agree. I think about it all the time. I'm going to keep thinking about it now that I've watched it again. It's but we'll get into that soon.
Let's not put segments ahead of each other. We're still in the voicemail segment of the show.
This is the voicemail segment, and as such, we got a real special one here.
Please welcome me, a sweet man.
You're so sweet. You're so sweet. You're so sweet.
I hate to be a conspiracy theorist. How much money do you think Kevin Costner paid Bear Grylls to drink his own pee-pee and use pee-pee all the time on his TV show? So it would seem cooler to use your own tinkle as a survival tactic. So when future generations went back and watched Waterworld, they would be less off-put by this pee-pee drinking.
ha!
Thank you, Mia. I don't understand your reference. I don't know how to respond to this voicemail.
You don't get the you've never seen Waterworld.
I have not actually seen that movie.
Interesting. Well, there is a precedent here. When you reveal at the top of a show that you have not seen something before, I tend to pick it at the end of the show as next week's pick.
That is true. That has happened a few times. So, yeah, I've not seen it.
Well, very interesting. Have you seen the stunt show based on the film?
I have not, but we did walk by it to get to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre maze that time.
Man, you didn't even see the stunt show.
It was October. They're not doing those stunts during Halloween times.
You've lived in California for all these years, and you never made it a point to come down to Los Angeles to attend that stunt show? They do 3 shows daily, Bowman.
I haven't seen that movie. What am I going to do? Let these guys spoil me?
Well, that's fair. That is fair. You don't want to see these guys doing their jet ski stunts without knowing, the rich character work that went into creating this world.
Exactly.
You should see Waterworld. I actually think it's pretty good. It's kind of like a Mad Max on the water. It's got Dennis Hopper. He's unhinged. Costner's, Costner. He's kind of flat, but some really good action scenes, especially at the end. Like there's some pretty crazy stunts right there in the end of the movie.
I've heard good things. Ironically, considering it's like the biggest flop of all time, but I have heard good things.
It's one of those flops where it's not a bad movie. It's just that they spent too much,
Yeah.
So that's no skin off my hide. I don't care the accounting of it. I just know it's a decent watch.
Well, I'll definitely watch it one day, especially if it's mandatory.
I think you're obligated to do so as a man who is so urine obsessed. You're peeing in walls, you're peeing on people in the shower. This is one of the number one appearances of urine in the cinematic canon. You got to get in there.
All right, I should see it. But speaking of seeing things, we are actually not going to look now. We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about Don't Look Now. So stick around.
Ooh.
My sister's psychic. She wants you to know. I've seen her. And she wants you to know that she's happy. Christine.
John, do you hear what I say? It was Christine.
My daughter is dead, Laura. She does not come peeping with messages back from behind the grave.
Yes.
Christine is dead.
Yes.
She is dead.
Yes.
Dead, 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 dead.
What is it, Mr. Baxter? What is it you fear?
My wife was warned that I was in danger.
What did she say? What did she say?
Laura!
Please, fetch him back. Let him not go. Fetch him. Fetch him. Fetch him, Mama. Fetch him.
I hope it's not another murder. I will pray for you.
Welcome back to Junk Food Supper. The movie we're talking about tonight is Don't Look Now, a 1973 movie. Oddly enough, the same year the Badlands came out last year. 2 1973s in a row. Just a nice little bit of trivia for you guys.
Did that come through your research or what? How did you find that out?
That actually is part of my research. Because things were so busy this week, I didn't do much research, but I did find out things like when the movie came out, who directed it.
Yeah, you got some actor names?
I do. First, I gotta go with the director first. It's Nicolas, I guess it's Roeg. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
I always just thought it was Rogue. You know, like Rogue. He's a D&D class.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let's go with Rogue. He also did The Man Who Fell to Earth, The Witches, Performance, that Mick Jagger thing. And he did Heart of Darkness, starring Tim Roth in 1993, which is based on the story that Apocalypse Now was based on.
Oh yeah,
but like
Joseph Conrad, right?
Yeah, exactly. But this is like the real version that has nothing to do with Vietnam. It's just like set in the 1800s and is about
just
Africa.
A dude staring out off the end of a ship,
basically,
as it goes down a river. Yeah, it's
yeah.
A good, I remember reading it in junior high or whatever and really liking it.
I've never read it, but I've been wanting to ever since seeing Apocalypse Now like 10 years ago or whatever. But I also want to see this version of it.
Have you enjoyed any of these rogues before? Because I like that Man Who Fell to Earth, and I really like The Witches with Angelica Houston.
I remember liking The Witches as a kid, but I haven't seen it since like third grade, and I haven't seen any of these other ones.
You should go back to The Witches. It's still creepy as hell, dude. Like that transformation scene. It's as scary as you remember it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go back and watch that one and then watch that remake that just came out like during the pandemic to compare and contrast. So I should probably do that soon.
I'm guessing that new one is not very scary, but who knows?
I can't imagine. But as for actors, we've got Julie Christie playing Laura Baxter. You may remember her from Harry Potter and The Prisoner of Azkaban. Apparently.
And you might remember her for having those big tits on that 90s action figure of Heavy Metal 2000.
Exactly, yeah. Also Dr. Zhivago, Fahrenheit 451. Hamlet. Oh, she played Gertrude in the Kenneth Branagh one. I guess that's where I know her from. And a bunch of other stuff. And And more importantly, though, we got Donald Sutherland. He plays her husband, John Baxter. There's really only one place you know this guy from. What would you say is this guy's most important role, Sean?
Well, he had the leading role in that series 23, was it? I'm trying to make a Kiefer reference very awkwardly.
You're over here.
This guy came before 20. I don't know.
This man is the star of the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie from 1992.
Oh.
And you're over here making jokes.
Well, I thought we'd be talking Body Snatchers, if anything, but it seems like you're making the jokes with this Buffy stuff.
Also, he's from Body Snatchers 78. A masterpiece. He was in Animal House and all this other stuff. You guys know who this guy is.
What else is he great in, though? Because I do have a feeling that he's like one of our great actors, and then I can't really think of that many roles for the guy. Maybe I should do some research.
That's a good point. I hear he's like a real fucking prick. So maybe he doesn't get a lot of good roles despite being like a very good actor because he's an asshole.
Oh, I guess JFK is maybe the movie that I've seen the most times that he was in. I've seen that quite a few times.
Okay. He was in Outbreak. That's a cool movie. Disclosure. I like that movie a great deal. It's very erotic.
All right. He's done some stuff.
Yeah. Kentucky Fried Movie. He's in a shitload of movies. He's all over the place.
No, let's not forget that he was in Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within, that very awkward CGI movie from the year 2001, which was way before we should be making CGI movies.
Yeah. Not a single chocobo in that fucking movie, if I remember
True,
correctly.
yeah. Yeah, they don't do any kind of chocobo gambling or anything like that.
Yeah, it's a real bullshit fucking...
I don't even know if there's a Moogle in that.
I don't think so. I don't think there's any Final Fantasy shit in that movie.
You make a Final Fantasy movie with no fucking Moogles, no chocobos. It's probably all about espers or some shit.
I think so, yeah. That thing sucked. All right, and that's about it. That's like really the important people in this movie. These two are a couple who are married. They've got 2 kids. And at the beginning of the movie, one of them dies tragically. They drown in a pond outside of their house. It's possible that Donald Sutherland is getting tipped off. Maybe he's having premonitions about it. He sees a few weird things and then instinctively goes out to the pond and then finds her dead.
Just covered in mud and moss.
That is accurate. We find out later that it's possible he has some sort of psychic powers because the couple puts their remaining kid in boarding school and then goes to Venice, Italy, because John gets a job restoring an old church there.
Which is maybe one of the first times that we start to notice these thematic kind of cycles where it's like the girl dies in the water, then they go to Venice, City of Water, I believe it's called, just as this is the City of Angels. They got the City of Water over there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff like that, a lot of recurring things in this movie. Like later on, he'll find a toy doll floating in the water in Venice that he pulls out of the water, much like his daughter. Water plays heavily in this film, as you might expect for being in Venice. And another thing that comes up is this idea of restoring something back to its former glory. John is there to restore this old church. He painstakingly, like every single rock has to look perfect in this restoration. And he goes over everything, and that's what he's doing with his wife as well. They're trying to restore their wedding or their marriage, despite the fact that the death of the daughter has really impacted them. And also, like, while they're there, she gets into this crew. She meets 2 sisters who are a bit weird. I know Macbeth had 3 weird sisters. Only 2 here, but it is sort of, they are a little bit witchy and they are a little bit Macbethy, I feel like, in that they...
Kind of a weird fetish.
my Macbeth fetish. In that they one of them has psychic powers and kind of tells Julie Christie that Donald Sutherland may be in danger if they stay in Venice, and that she also tells her that he may have powers of his own that he has to learn how to harness. And that's, the basic plot. Things kind of start spiraling a bit out of control. They argue a lot. Like, she finds solace in the fact that she is with these sisters and they have seances where they say that they talk to the daughter and that the daughter is doing fine and she's a ghost and she's happy where she is. And that really gives solace to Julie Christie. And she really starts to heal through this relationship with these sisters. Whereas John just thinks it's all a bunch of bullshit and she's dead and it's, there's no coming back. But then again, he doesn't really deal with it in any way himself. He just kind of keeps reliving it over and over. He sees an image. He sees what he feels like maybe his daughter in the streets of Venice, a small figure in the same red jacket she was wearing when she died from time to time. And he just puts himself into his work, not really dealing with anything. And also possibly dealing with these psychic visions that he's getting. As things kind of get out of hand, it's a little bit unclear if he's seeing the future or the past in some ways. I love this movie. As was mentioned earlier, the first time I saw it, which was a few years ago, I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. Since then, I've thought about it pretty much every day because it's got all my shit in it. It's got all my Hitchcock shit. We got doppelgangers. We got mirror visions. We got obsession. We got rude European cities. We got dad bods. We got all the stuff I love in a movie like this.
I'd say it's a hot piece of ass.
Exactly. So I've bumped that up. I'm at 4.5 now. Might go up next time I watch this movie again. The more I watch it, the more I like it.
You'd say this movie is better than Badlands, then?
I would say that, but this is aggressively my kind of movie. Like, I love a movie where a dude is so obsessed with something that it ruins his life. And spoiler alert, we're going to spoil this. If you want to see this movie, go see it. Turn us off right now. There's a lot to spoil in this. I'm very surprised that you, Sean, haven't already gotten the spoiler from this movie, because it is like, I think on like the DVD cover and shit, like it's really in like all the promotional material, the end shot. So if you haven't been spoiled and you want to see this, go watch it, but because we're probably going to spoil some stuff. But I'm aggressively for any movie where a guy is so obsessed with something that it just fucks his life up. It's a lot of Hitchcock stuff. De Palma does it. And notably, this movie is based on a story by Daphne Du Maurier, who also wrote the short stories that turned into The Birds, the Hitchcock movie, that turned into Rebecca, the Hitchcock movie, and like 2 or 3 other Hitchcock movies. I guess it would make sense that there are a lot of similar themes, but this is aggressively for me. I thought it would be aggressively for you because there's one scene near the end where Donald Sutherland makes a phone call, and the phone cord is really long. So I thought just based on that alone, you would really like this. Also, it's a beautiful fucking movie. It's a moody movie. It's a very deliberately paced movie, which I feel like you care for from time to time. And so I thought that you would really like this. So I'm very curious as to whether or not you really like this.
Yeah, I have had this on my radar for a long time. I think there's probably very few movies out there that I have come this close to watching so many times. It's been multiple years now where, this has been at the top of various watch lists. In fact, it was, before you picked it, it was at the top of my Canopy streaming watch list because it's been on there for a while and I keep bumping it back up to the top because I've been meaning to watch this. I think originally, years ago, I thought that I had watched this, and then I realized, no, I had never seen it, that I was thinking of some other movie from the 70s. So, I was hyped. I was very excited to see this, was glad that you picked it. And then something truly shocking happened, at least in my purview. I found this to be almost unfathomable, which is, despite your repeated claims that I should not read anything about this movie online,
Oh, no.
Moments after you picked it for the show, you went over to our Discord, you went into the movie chat channel, and you started asking everyone to spoil this movie directly to me.
Nobody spoiled it. I told them, let's talk about this movie. I said, how do you like this movie? Don't spoil it, though. Nobody spoiled it. I just wanted to see if I just really wanted just yes or no answers. Is it good or not from people?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't know that. I would have no way to know that people didn't spoil it because I've kept my eyes off that channel actually to this very moment. I still have not looked at Movie Chat. It's got a bunch of notifications awaiting me in there for these few days that I've, ignored it and tried to make do with baseball chat and snacks chat and the other channels on my Discord. And so, this movie, I come into this movie with a unique hurdle for it to clear, which is, was this worth being deprived of movie chat on Discord for a few days?
I immediately regretted my decision to bring that up. I knew I was like, damn it, I'm tempting fate. I shouldn't have done this. But I had, as I told you, I had just gotten the DVD or the Blu-ray in the mail, and I was like, just kind of excited. So I
know.
Apologize.
You wanted to show off, have your cool Blu-ray haul photo posted on Discord. We can all relate. But, that puts pressure on this movie. And I think also just kind of the general pressure of me hearing for a long time that this was the kind of movie that I would like, that this was, Lynchian, or that it was just kind of a cool, slow burn that I would love specifically. You were not the first person to tell me that. So I came in with a lot of pressure, for this movie. And I got to say, like, that first scene where the kid dies, I don't know. I don't think it landed with me in the way that it was supposed to land. And part of that might be Donald Sutherland's performance in that scene, which is weird because I feel like for most of this movie, outside of this first scene, everybody in this is very natural. Him and Julie Christie both put in really good performances, kind of understated, not actory or anything like that, just feels natural. Except for that first scene where I felt like he was really kind of hamming it up when he goes in to rescue her and he's acting all kind of weird and giving you bug eyes and screaming at the heavens and all this stuff. And I think maybe like part of that is they're trying to sell that he's struggling with this psychic ability or something like that. But I don't know. It was, I feel like it's conveyed a little bit awkwardly, and it wasn't to the point where I was like laughing through that scene or anything like that. Like it didn't kill it to that degree, but it did remove me from it a little bit where I'm like, well, this is kind of weird and ham-fisted. But I did settle into the rest of the movie as the main part of the movie kind of gets started there in Venice. I feel like I was pretty interested, and it seemed like, Sutherland was calming down and becoming a good actor again. And he's very relatable in this. There's something about the guy that I feel like is just very relatable, and you're willing to kind of adventure with him through this bleak vision of Venice and just kind of soak it all up together with him. I think if this was cast with a less capable actor, it would really struggle because it is kind of slow in the middle. And I would be lying if I said that I wasn't a little bit bored during the middle of this movie. Like, this is one of those quote unquote weird movies where nothing really weird happens on screen necessarily. Like, I think if this movie was on mute on a TV in the corner of the bar or something, and you were kind of half watching it, you would just think that this was some marriage drama or something, because most of the scenes are just a couple of people walking around Europe chit-chatting with each other. There's not any like crazy gore or like even kill scenes for 99.9% of the movie. And so it's just kind of people walking and talking, which again is grounded by the fact that these performances are so good. And so it didn't get like fully boring. And it looks good, both the idyllic scenery back home in England and also this kind of sort of darkly beautiful way that they shoot Venice that looks kind of mysterious. I thought all of it looked good.
Well,
although,
to that,
go ahead.
To that point about Venice, like, yeah, they shoot it in a way that you wouldn't expect to see Venice. Like Venice, usually when you see it, it's like, it's the gondolas, it's like dudes playing accordion, it's very romantic, it's very lit up. In here, it's like, it's gray and it like the water looks dirty and like there's rats in the water and like they're constantly like losing their way and like it's anything but like the idea of Venice that you probably have going in, especially like a movie where it's like about these two who have like this shaky marriage going to Venice. You would think that it's like that's like prime like rom-com territory. Like a couple goes to Venice and then they find their way, they learn to love again. But like the way Venice looks here, it's like, no, who could even be in love in this fucking gross city? Like, I love it.
It looks like England, and I wonder if that was intentional, that they kind of shoot this. It almost looks like one of those old Jack the Ripper movies or something with like foggy old London. And it could be intentional that, thematically part of this is, he can't get away from the past. He can't get away from grief. And he's trying to escape to this Mediterranean climate. But you know what? It just feels and looks like London in a lot of ways. So I thought that was interesting. I was not as into the kind of nonlinear editing style of this movie as I thought maybe I should be. And it's hard to quantify, but I think it's just something in the specifics of the timing of it and just how it's deployed in this that I just found it to be kind of either like it's alternately kind of obvious the ways that they use it. And then once in a while, it's just kind of like seems totally unnecessary. I don't know, like I like this idea of these premonitions kind of being cut into the scenes, but it just didn't play out in a way that I felt was satisfying. And then, we travel with Julie Christie and Donald Sutherland to the Bone Zone. I'm surprised you didn't mention this sequence. This graphic sex scene that goes on for a very long time, so much so that it's maybe a little bit distracting, even though if it's, I guess, kind of historically interesting that they were able to like break boundaries with this, but you got to admit that it kind of goes on for a long time.
Well, I got to admit, it gives you a boner.
Baba boom.
Yeah, well, yeah, it goes on for a long time, but like it's intercut with like the mundanity of their lives, like, which is a scene I mean, this is like probably outside of the final 30 seconds of the movie, the most famous stuff from the movie. But like, yeah, I love that like they're kind of caught up in themselves in this sex scene, this weird sex scene where like she licks his armpits at one point, like real gross stuff, and like he bites her feet. It's like they're doing real gross
buddy,
stuff.
what are you, some sort of pervert?
Exactly. But yeah, like intercut with all that stuff, it's like him just like sitting around, like him like brushing his teeth naked, like her putting on jewelry, like them getting ready to like go out, like the mundanity of life. And like I like the way that that's juxtaposed, like them kind of being able to lose themselves in like this, hour of passion or whatever, kind of intercut with like the fact that on either side of that, it's them not really talking and not really enjoying each other's company. Or at least I think that's what it's trying to convey. Or it's also perhaps he's having sex with her and the whole time he's just like having premonitions of what's to come, because that's also kind of what happens in the movie is he gets these premonitions at weird times. So it could be that too, but
I guess that's an example of like why these editing choices I think are frustrating, is that it's not clear to me, and the movie I don't think ever makes it clear which of those are actually premonitions, and is he experiencing all of those? Like, are these editing techniques, for the viewer, or is it something that I'm supposed to believe that he's also experiencing?
Well, I think that's that's part of the fun, is like trying to figure that out. I think that there's one premonition very obviously happens, and that's when he sees his wife on the boat when he thinks that she's gone back to England.
Yeah, and at the beginning, kind of, I don't know if does he see what's happening outside, or does he just kind of have an unsettled feeling that his daughter might be at risk?
Yeah, I think he has an unsettled feeling because he's like seeing the broken glass and like seeing like the he spills the water and stuff like this. So I feel like he just gets this urge to go check on his daughter based on these things. And then, so those two things, I think well, even that first one's a little bit debatable, I guess, as to whether he has a premonition, but I think undoubtedly he sees his wife at that one point. So I feel like that proves that he has some sort of psychic power. So I would imagine that anytime that there are these edits to either the past or the future, that we're experiencing them along with him.
All right. I guess I would be curious to go back to the original source material, the book or whatever, and see how that's conveyed there, because I don't know, like the way that it's deployed here, it almost feels like it could have been an afterthought, where it's like maybe the original story had no psychic stuff whatsoever, and then they were just like, oh, you know what, we got this footage, we don't know how to use it, let's just cut it in wherever, because it feels so freeform, the way that he uses it, which I think is what some people like about it. But to me, as a first-time viewer, I was just, I don't know, a little bit frustrated by that. And then, yeah, the sex scene, go ahead.
I felt similar to you the first time watching it. Like the first time watching it, I was like, why is it doing this stuff? This editing's weird and the movie's slow. I still think it's slow, but like not as slow as the first time. So like, as I said last week, like this movie, like you almost kind of have to watch it twice in a row. Like I feel like, because like I feel like a lot of the stuff that maybe you're having problems with now, of like it might make a little bit more sense or feel a little bit better a second time.
It
certainly
like
did for me this time.
Is that I shouldn't look now, I should look later.
Yeah, look again.
That's what the title means. But yeah, long ass sex scene that to me feels like it's just kind of plopped in from a different movie that they cut it out of. It doesn't really fit in this movie, especially because for the rest of the movie, Donald Sutherland feels so sexless and helpless and like, I don't know. And again, probably kind of the point of that scene, but still didn't make me feel any better while I was watching it. And then overall, I don't know. I think I just kind of expected this to feature more of an element of surprise. And this could be partially just how it was built up in my mind, but there aren't really a lot of twists and turns or anything. It's a pretty basic plot, and then a lot of the movie is just kind of waiting around for the inevitable to happen. Inevitable things like, Donald Sutherland is doing this very dangerous restoration work on the church. He's like balancing gargoyles on ledges and stuff like this with no harnesses and wearing like really impractical like dress clothes and like hard shoes and stuff like this. And it's like, of course, that's going to lead to him nearly dying in the process of trying to do this restoration. So you're just kind of waiting for stuff like that to happen. Or, they do all this stuff with him having these premonitions early on, but they don't really talk about it in the movie at all until about an hour in or something. The weird sisters start talking about that he might have a gift of some kind. And then I don't know, I thought the ending was pretty underwhelming. Like maybe the shot itself is kind of cool, but in the context of everything else, it just felt kind of flat. So I didn't hate this, though. It probably sounds like I hated this or was like super bored. I was invested enough through the entire movie. Glad that I saw it. Still don't quite get the love for it that everybody else seems to have, but I'm willing to believe that a subsequent viewing, if I do look later, that it might help. Or maybe not, or maybe I'll always just be slightly underwhelmed by this. But it is a different kind of movie, and you do appreciate that Roeg here is trying to create kind of a new kind of thriller that is more rooted in grief and maybe a sense of foreboding and stuff like this, rather than like, shocks and scares. I am glad, though, that you didn't pick this on a Kevin week because I think he would hate this.
I was thinking about that. I don't know. It's hard to tell. This movie kind of reminds me of like The Omen in some ways, so I feel like he might like some of it, but
The Omen has like set pieces and stuff, and people like die during the runtime, you know?
True. Well, people die during the runtime of this. Like, I mean, kind of one of the things that's fun about this is like, there's like a whole slasher movie, like a whole giallo movie happening in this. But we're not really following. It's like in the background. Like, it's sort of like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead sort of a situation to keep talking about Shakespeare. Like, which is like a thing where like it follows like two side characters from Shakespeare as they kind of like wander in and out of like the big moments, but don't actually participate in them. And that's kind of what happens here is like we get these little glimpses throughout the movie where like the city's sort of on edge because there's a serial killer who's drowning women to bring that motif back in the canals. And so the cops are on alert. They actually think that John is a suspect at one point near the end, which I didn't get my first time watching it. I got it more this time. You know, and like that's part of the reason why like there's nobody on the streets is because like people are shutting things down early and locking up at night and stuff like that. So like, and then, you know, that's who Donald Sutherland meets at the end, who, spoiler alert, he thinks it's his daughter, but it is actually the murderer who chops him up. And so like, yeah, there is murders and there is like you know, normal thriller stuff, but it's just like in the background. And I think that's really a really fun take.
Yeah, but it does also make you want to watch that other movie that we were deprived of. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't he have like hired Umberto Lenzi or somebody to make that movie concurrently and be like, yeah, I'll give you a day of Sutherland, you know, you can have him in the background of your shots.
That would be kind of fun.
I actually would like to see that attempted, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Like two directors making movies concurrently in the same place with a little bit of overlap. I think that's an idea, right? Can I sell that to Hollywood? Can I get rich off this?
I think so. I think it's a smashing idea.
All right.
But,
I look forward to all the royalty checks.
Yeah. But I do love this, the scene. It seems like so non sequitur, especially if you're like kind of not paying attention to the murder stuff because it is so far in the background, like that Donald Sutherland turns a corner and then gets hacked to death by
like a midget clown
by a very old, very unique looking little person
who I think only appeared in, was it Fellini's movie? Is it called Clowns or something? But there's a Fellini movie that came out like a year or two before this, and that's her only two appearances.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Yeah, she I don't even think she says anything. She just like kind of shakes her head at him and hacks him up. But I mean, this also plays into the stuff. I feel like all my favorite movies have a guy who's obsessed with something, and then that obsession leads him to be horribly murdered, or some other bad thing happened to him. And I just, I love that idea. I love the idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. And I mean, that's sort of what seeing the future is. I mean, to some degree, and that is, if you have this premonition of something, like you would naturally gravitate toward it, even if the premonition is of your death, which is, I think, all the warning signs he gets throughout this movie are warning him to not die at the hands of this little person. But naturally, it just, human nature to follow it rather than run from it. And I love that. I love characters that always make that horrible choice. And also, it's a lesson, I think the wife seems like she gets her stuff together and she's going to live a normal life after all this. And he just couldn't do that. He couldn't let go of the death of his daughter, and it led to his downfall. And, it's a nice little, they tie a nice bow telling you to live your life. Don't look in the past. Don't be stuck in the past. And then if you're a psychic, don't be stuck in the future, be stuck in the present. That's the way to do it. That's the way you avoid being chopped up by a dwarf. I like that message.
I did like all of that stuff towards the end where you're not sure whether or not the wife ever left and went back to England. Like there's a couple scenes where it seems like maybe she just totally lied to Sutherland and then went to go party with the Weird Sisters. And I thought that stuff, like that sense of paranoia, was really well conveyed. But yeah, like you know, it's one that I think I'll probably have in my mind for a bit. So that's saying something. And maybe when I revisit, I will fall in love like many people have.
I think you might. I mean, that's why it was like kind of a hard one to recommend, because I think it really is kind of a movie you got to see twice to really appreciate the most that you're going to appreciate it. So, but you didn't hate it. So I'll take that as a win. I look forward to it. So it's not going to be 5 stars, but what's your letterbox going to be?
It's going to be 3.5. That will be the official rating. I'm going to log it after this. And, that's not too shabby.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's all right. That's all right. I'll take it.
I gave The Witches 4 stars though. So it's no witches.
Okay. Well, it's a classic. People love that one. Speaking of classics, what are we going to be back here talking about in 2 weeks?
Well, not Waterworld. That was a total fake out earlier. I was trying to hide my tracks. I do think that you should see Waterworld. You will like it. But it's not a 5-star movie.
That's a shame.
For anybody.
I was holding this close to the vest so that you might pick it, but that movie was co-written by Joss Whedon, so I was kind of hoping to get you to pick it accidentally.
Now I'm never picking it.
No,
but maybe it will be 5 stars based on that. Who knows? But you should see it, but not on the show, not within the next couple of weeks, because actually next week is going to be our Kevin week. So what we are talking about is what's going to be coming in 2 weeks. And again, I still want to maintain this quest that I'm on to deliver a 5-star Bowman pick that y'all haven't seen before. I'm looking at my short list, and I feel like the one that's left that is maybe most likely to generate a 5-star with you is also a movie that Kevin has not seen, and I think he will love. So I'm going to disqualify that and try and pick that later when we've got Kevin. Okay. And so I'm going to go with kind of I don't know, this is kind of a big swing. I could see you coming back next week and giving this a 2-star rating or a 5-star rating. If you gave it less than 2, then probably our friendship would be over. But I could see you not loving this, certainly. But I feel like it's about time that you enter the world of old-timey tap dancing with my boy Fred Astaire. We got to finally do a Fred Astaire flick. And what better than his pairing with Ginger Rogers in 1935's Top Hat.
Okay. I've never heard of such a thing, but I love dancing. I love watching it.
Yeah. So. This is kind of the origin story of dance on film in a way. I mean, not this. I mean, they had been making musicals for probably 15 years before this, but this one I think it's certainly my favorite Fred Astaire one. And I think outside of the Busby Berkeley stuff, this is one of the coolest looking and coolest feeling musicals of the 30s. So I think you'll like it. I hope you like it. I hope you're as open to classic American tap dance as I am. That's my favorite form of dance. If we disqualify, dancing between the ropes of the squared circle. So yeah, Top Hat, 1935, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers.
Okay, I look forward to it. I like tap dance. It's not my favorite kind, but I like it. So I'm into this. I'll give it a fair shake. I think jazz is probably my favorite kind of dance, even though I hate the music. It's ironic.
Well, there will be jazz music in Top Hat, so get ready for it.
Okay. I'm into it.
They didn't have any other kinds of music in 1935,
That's true. It was either jazz or it was just like a dude with a piano, like playing like ice cream truck songs.
I mean, they might have had those novelty records where like beagles bark along to Jingle Bells or whatever, you know, those singing dog records. They might have had those, but very few movies about that type of music.
True.
And
All
also,
right, well,
I should underline the fact that I did pick Top Hat as a tribute to the fact that you ate at the original Tops in Pasadena, where you had your first Orange Julius, and we met Hatless Jackson. So
true. Okay, I like this. I like that kind of synergy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about that. Next week, though, Kevin will be here. We're going to be talking about 3 movies. We're going to be talking about Attack of the Beast Creatures from 1985, The Killer Dead from 1992. Me and Kevin, I think, picked pretty similar types of movies. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And Mother Goose Rock and Roll. Rock and Rhyme,
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, Rock and Rhyme. I did.
It's like that Faygo flavor, Rock and Rhyme.
From 1990, which is the opposite of the type of movie me and Kevin picked. So we'll see how that goes too.
But still, somehow a junk food dinner movie, I believe, unlike what we'll be reviewing the week after, Top Hat, which if Kevin hears that we're doing that on Junk Food Supper, he might remove our license to podcast under his podcast network. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. Nobody tell Kevin. If Kevin asks, tell him we're doing like Old Boy or a Rikishi Mike movie or something.
Yeah.
Nobody tell him. He's going to be off visiting weird tourist spots in Wisconsin. He's not going to be able to listen for a few months. So nobody tell him. Nobody tell him what we're doing.
I just don't want to break the poor guy's heart, you know?
Yeah. If he finds out we're doing tap dancing movies, he'll probably drive out here and fight us.
That have no weird elements. I just want to get ahead of this now. I know it's not a junk food dinner pick. I'm picking it anyways.
Hey, that's fine. Junk Food Supper's got its own rules. We're allowed to do whatever. We have no rules here except for the one rule that we don't pick the Into the Spider-Verse movie. Even though I think you're going to like it, but I'm not going to pick it. But you're going to like it, Sean. You should go see it.
Well, the other rule is that you'll never pick Cherry Falls.
I'm waiting for you to pick that. Everybody's waiting for you to pick that. You got to pick that.
Maybe I should.
Everybody wants to hear about it. And you can let us know what you want to hear about by sending us a voicemail at 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-746-5865. Email us at jfdpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on the Facebook. Find us in the Discord. A few people have joined up the last week or two. So we've been in there chatting. I haven't been in there as much as I usually am lately. I went out of town and I just kind of like threw the internet away for a while. I got to catch up on some stuff.
Where'd you go?
I went to Los Angeles.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff in there I got to catch up on. And let's see.
Didn't seem to block you from accessing the movie chat channel in Discord, though. All of this travel.
That was right before I left. I posted that and then I got in my car and left so that I wouldn't be able to moderate.
For all I know, you've been posting in there nonstop since then.
No. Nobody spoiled the movie. But now you can go in there and take a look.
I look forward to it.
And let's see. Yeah, so join that Discord. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/junkfooddinner. We're still making a lot of bonus stuff. I think the last bonus episode we posted was like over an hour, maybe close to 90 minutes or something. So,
oh, hell yeah.
And also, if you really miss Kevin, Kevin's always doing bonus stuff with us. So that's a place you can get a little bit more Kevin too. If you just kick us a couple of American dollars. So until next week, this is Parker for Sean saying thanks for having fun.